Right now at 6, a Kansas court sentences a Jasper County man in connection with the murder of his wife.
And we've got clear skies to start the day. A bit chilly, but it will warm up later. A look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a proposed change to Liberty Utilities fuel adjustment clause could mean a slight hike to your monthly bill.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday. It's April the 15th. It is tax day. It is halfway through the month, and we have the Easter weekend coming up.
Busy.
It's a busy week. Unfortunately, heading into the Easter weekend, we also have shower and thunderstorm chances out there as well. So a lot to monitor if you have some Easter plans this weekend. But first, let's get you through your Tuesday, and we'll start with that live look in downtown Pittsburgh, where skies are clear, and they will remain that way through today. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, looking back to the north, also looking pretty good this morning as well. On to the future track. Now, for today, it doesn't really have a lot to show us. We're going to have a light north breeze at around 5 to 10, so no major gusty winds out there. The skies will be clear, and temperatures will be pretty close to normal, so it is almost a textbook April day. In fact, later this evening, at least for a little while, you see how the wind arrows kind of just go all funky? It's because the winds will become calm by late evening across the area before they switch out of the south overnight tonight, ahead of some much warmer and much wetter weather that's on its way. Right now, though, it is a bit on the chilly side. 39 in Joplin right now, 42 in Pittsburgh. And remember, we should be about the mid-upper 40s for our average lows. And other than our far southern counties, really nobody's at that. We now have a lot of upper 30s up there and low 40s, with Neodesha as the cold spot at 37. The warm spot by itself now is Grove, still sitting at 49. So again, a bit of a cold start to the day. Kids getting on the bus this morning, probably want that light jacket. Sunny skies, low 40s, north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And into the afternoon, not too bad. 64, clear, north winds still about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies today. And again, our high is right around the mid 60s. So a near textbook April day. If you were to look at all the normals, we're pretty close to that for this afternoon. That's going to change. We're going to warm up, which that's fine, whatever, but we also are going to see increasing rain chances and thunderstorm chances over the next few days. And unfortunately, as we are in severe weather season, some of those could be strong, possibly severe. We're going to break down those details for you in the full forecast. Of course, that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. A Kansas judge sentences a Jasper County man in connection to the murder of his wife. Yesterday, a judge in Miami County, Kansas, sentenced this man, Gavina McJunkins-Macias, to 10 years and 3 months for the charge of second-degree murder. McJunkins-Macias pleaded guilty to the charge earlier this year. Now, the charge stems from June 2024, when officers in Carthage, Missouri received a 911 call stating the body of a woman was found inside a camper in the 600 block of North Main. Authorities identified the woman as Kanaya Lopez of Carthage. The investigation revealed the crime had taken place in rural Lewisburg, Kansas, before the victim and the camper were driven to Carthage. Now, authorities arrested McJunkins-Macias, and prosecutors charged him with second-degree murder in Kansas. Now, on the Missouri side, McJunkins-Macias was charged with abandonment of a corpse. Now, that charge is still being adjudicated. Well, a criminal suspect has been taken to the hospital, and 2 Jasper County deputies are on administrative leave following an officer-involved shooting. The injured man is 43-year-old Gavin Newton of Joplin. Now, we don't yet know his condition, but here's what authorities say happened. Now, Jasper County deputies were dispatched to investigate a domestic incident in progress yesterday on County Road 70. According to the report, when they encountered Newton, he was carrying a knife. Now, they ordered him to get on the ground, but he charged at the deputies. They tased him twice with no effect. Then one deputy shot Newton. Authorities say the deputies administered medical aid until EMS arrived. Newton is now charged with domestic assault and assault on a law enforcement officer. The Missouri Highway Patrol is now handling the investigation. A 2-vehicle crash claims the life of a small child on Monday evening. Shortly after 5 p.m., first responders were alerted to a crash on Highway J and Quail Road east of Diamond, Missouri. A Granby man driving a Chevy Trailblazer traveling north failed to yield to a Ford F-250 who was traveling west. The truck overturned and landed upside down. The Granby man and the driver of the Ford suffered minor injuries. There were 3 other occupants in the truck. A woman and an 8-year-old suffered minor injuries. The 6-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Everyone was wearing seatbelts, and those with injuries were transported to Freeman West. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. While officials in McDonald County, Missouri are finished counting votes from last week's election, yesterday marked what many hope is the end of the process, the certification. The verification board met yesterday to officially certify the results. Now, this process included a random selection of precincts to be manually counted by a bipartisan team of election judges. Now, one race to note in Goodman, the certification process follows after 2 candidates ran for both mayor and alderman, with Clay Sexton winning both races. Now, Sexton will be the new mayor and then appoint an alderman of his choosing. And some good news for disaster-stricken Arkansas. The IRS has extended the income tax filing deadline for people and businesses in Arkansas hit hard by this month's tornadoes and flash flooding. Taxpayers in the natural state now have until November 3rd to file returns and also make payments. Also, households and people who have a business in any of Arkansas's 25 counties qualify for tax relief. Well, the Missouri Public Service Commission is accepting public comment on a request by Liberty Utility to change the company's fuel adjustment clause, also known as an FAC. Now, according to the Missouri Public Service Commission, the FAC requires regular adjustments to reflect changes in prices the company has incurred for fuel and wholesale power purchased to serve customers. For the average Missouri residential customer, their electric bill would increase by roughly $2.24 per month if the requested FAC change is applied. You can learn more on how to submit a comment on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Watchdog has found black market groups on Facebook that offer rideshare and delivery driver accounts for sale. Plus, we'll learn more about the fate of a Maryland man that was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Kiwanis Park, located in Baxter Springs, Kansas. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, many Americans are worried about the U.S. job market. Now, according to a survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, 44% say they believe the national unemployment rate will rise next year. Now, that's the highest response to that question since April 2020, which is shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic emerged. Nearly 16% of those polled also said they have concerns about their own jobs. A technology watchdog says it has found Facebook groups that offer rideshare and delivery driver accounts for sale and rent. Now, the Tech Transparency Project, a nonprofit tech watchdog, found 80 such groups, which it calls black market groups. Now, the idea behind these groups is to let people bypass background checks and driver's license requirements to fraudulently pose as a credentialed driver or delivery worker, and that could put users at risk. Now, a spokesperson for Meta, which owns Facebook, said the company will review the report and remove any content that violates its rules. Now, we could learn more today about the fate of a Maryland man multiple judges have concluded was improperly deported to his native El Salvador. The Supreme Court even ordered his return, but the Trump administration is refusing to bring him back. Now, Trump now also hinted he'd like to deport American citizens too. Derek Waller has more from New York.
Today, parties are due back in federal court in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man the Trump administration admits was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. But at the White House Monday, the president of El Salvador said Garcia will remain in prison.
How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it.
Top White House officials remain defiant despite a Supreme Court order for the administration to facilitate Garcia's release.
He was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
The White House says Garcia has affiliations with the MS-13 gang, which his family denies. In 2019, a judge ruled he could stay in the U.S. for fear going back to El Salvador could put his life in danger. Monday, President Trump also suggested he wants to deport some violent U.S. citizens.
If it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now.
As for his ongoing trade war, Trump says he's now weighing exemptions to his 25% auto tariffs.
I'm looking at something to help some of the car companies. They need a little bit of time.
The tariff whiplash coming after Trump allowed exemptions for some electronics before later backtracking, claiming those Chinese-made products were now just part of a different, quote, tariff bucket. Derek Waller, CBS News.
Now, also breaking overnight, the Trump administration said it's freezing over $2 billion of federal funding to Harvard University after the Ivy League school rejected its demands for greater oversight. Now, in a statement, the White House has accused Harvard of dangerous racial discrimination. Harvard says it will work to improve experiences for all members of its community, but it, quote, is not prepared to agree to demands that go beyond the unlawful authority of this or any administration. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear this morning. Clouds not in our area, but 2 hours south. And we've got a beautiful sunrise out there as we get our Tuesday underway. Got a great day ahead of us and changes on the way. We'll have more details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes.
Well, a New York woman is celebrating a milestone in a remarkable way. As she turned 100 years old, she marked the occasion with an accomplishment some much younger people cannot do. Shanti Lands has more.
A typical aerobics fitness class is anything but. Just ask Geraldine Jerry Leo.
April 11th is my 100th birthday.
It's not just her high tempo, pristine hearing, and hand, eye, and foot coordination at the Great South Bay YMCA in Bayshore on Long Island. It's this moment.
Knees straight.
The ability of this great-grandmother to do a 5-minute plank.
Planking, I'm planking.
We timed it.
3, 2, done. Come on now. Yay!
The class quitting at 2 minutes. But not Jerry. She comfortably holds steady until 3.
You have a lot of energy.
Well, I do. I love it.
Her impressive stamina and form were carried out just 3 days before her 100th birthday.
She's a strong woman. Her plank is just really unbelievable.
She definitely puts some of the class to shame, including me.
Her form is beautiful, and she can teach people how to do it the right way.
Which is exactly what she did with me.
Be comfortable.
Okay.
Okay. And
I'm already tired.
Yeah, and stay there. Okay. The Y has been a big part of my life.
Which started because of her late husband Dominic, who encouraged them to join the Y when it opened back in 1991.
Jerry is an inspiration to everyone who meets her.
I tell her all the time. She's my hero.
Today, the centenarian shares her secret to longevity.
Be consistent, be positive, and keep moving, whatever. That's very important.
Well, Jerry also takes a weightlifting class on Fridays, but not this week. For her birthday, both the Y and the Mayor of Babylon are celebrating her milestone. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good so far this morning. A bit on the chilly side, though, as we've got those clear skies, cold temperatures. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:21 now on this Tuesday morning. Our day today is going to be fantastic. Not much to worry about. Future track's pretty clear out there. Clear skies, light north wind, eventually becoming calm late this evening. Temperatures are seasonably cool. It's a great day. It's what happens starting tomorrow that sets up an unsettled weather pattern over the next several days across the area. And unfortunately, since we are in severe weather season, that does include those chances for strong, possibly severe storms over the next few days as well. Now, overnight tonight, winds begin to shift out of the south. That'll keep us a little warmer for most of us. So we should be about the mid to upper 40s, and the majority of us will be in the mid to upper 40s as we start our Wednesday. South winds will increase. They'll start gusting to 25 tomorrow, and by late morning into the afternoon, scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two will start to roll through the area, and by the evening hours they should begin to ease up. But overnight we could get a couple of additional thunderstorms that'll roll through. So this is Thursday at 2 a.m. We've got this complex. It's a small one, but it is a complex of storms nonetheless that will push through the area, rolling almost to the southeast, and then should be out of here by 6-7 o'clock on Thursday, which will leave us dry, warm, breezy, and temperatures even warmer Thursday. So we go into the low 80s out there. Now, the thing is, though, with those storm chances tomorrow into Thursday, do come with a risk for at least some strong storms. We have a low risk across the bulk of southeast Kansas for tomorrow, and then again on Thursday. But again, it's going to be with that complex, I believe. It's going to roll through late tomorrow evening into Thursday morning. But we could see a strong storm or two out there in Kansas. Now, our tornado risk very low. We don't have any areas highlighted. We have a chance, though, for some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds with some of those thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow, and that's just part of what we're setting up for. Great view of that sunrise, 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Chilly though, 39, feels like 34. That north breeze at 7, and across the area, again, we should be the upper 40s. We've got some of those in our southern counties, but most of us into the upper 30s and low 40s across the area. Looks like Neodesha right now is the cold spot still. They're sitting at 36. Grove still the warm spot at 47, but again, a pretty cold start to the day, even though it looks absolutely lovely out there. But it will continue to look lovely, and eventually those temperatures warm. Mid-40s to start, mid-50s by 11 o'clock this morning, and going into the mid-60s as we head into the afternoon today. Sunny skies, north winds 5 to 10. By the late evening hours, those winds will become calm. Skies are still clear, low 50s by 10. South winds after midnight keep us a bit milder, maybe a few clouds here or there. Then we go into this weekend. I know it's the Easter holiday. I'm sure a lot of you have some plans, doing Easter egg hunts, things like that. You need to make sure you've got a backup in case you need to be indoors for your Easter egg hunt, because we are looking at a pretty soggy holiday weekend. Unfortunately, we're also looking at the possibility of strong, potentially severe thunderstorms as we head into the weekend as well. Future track at this point, the only change to it for our thunderstorm chances Friday evening, it has moved the development of these back a little later into the evening and very early Saturday morning, but it still stretches from Chicago back down toward the panhandle of Texas, so just to the east of Lubbock. We're talking a wide swath of thunderstorms out there, and some of these could be strong, potentially severe. We head into the weekend. Our severe threat for Saturday drops, at least at this point, but we are still looking at flooding concerns this weekend because we are looking at copious amounts of rainfall as we go into the weekend as well. Now, some of you may get a brief break Saturday evening, but it is short because those shower and thunderstorm chances resume by Sunday morning, and they will continue through the entire day on Sunday, which is again why we have those flooding concerns. Unfortunately, that also comes with a risk for stronger storms. So here's what we're looking at for Friday. This hasn't really changed since yesterday. It really hasn't even changed since it first showed up Sunday, but it stretches again from the Great Lakes back down into the Texas Panhandle. It's a risk for strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. By Saturday, the risk for stronger storms, or at least severe weather, is a little further to our south and east, but it's not that far, so we want to keep an eye on that. But by Sunday, it retreats back a bit northwest into our area once again for that threat for strong, possibly severe thunderstorms on Easter. So again, if you got plans this weekend, whether you're staying local or maybe you're heading out, just make sure you've got a backup and you've got a safe place to go, because we do have that threat for strong, potentially severe thunderstorms this weekend. All right, low 70s tomorrow, low 80s on Thursday and Friday, back to normal Saturday. Easter Sunday, not counting the storms, we also have temperatures about 70. Monday looks fantastic, of course, and then we have additional thunderstorm chances as we head into the next work week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a common medication could help reduce heart attacks and strokes, saving lives in the process. A study by Lund University showed the medication ezetimibe, sold under the brand name Zetia, lowered cholesterol and the risk of new heart attacks if taken in the weeks after a heart attack. Cardiovascular disease is the most common cause of death worldwide. Having complications during pregnancy could increase the chance of cardiovascular disease later in life for some. Now, a study by the American College of Cardiology found that among overweight women, complications during pregnancy like gestational diabetes and high blood pressure had a significant link to midlife cardiovascular problems. Now, doctors say pregnancy can often be a window into a mother's future health. And a warning about overusing CT scans. A study by UC San Francisco found that CT scans may account for as much as 5% of all cancers. But the greatest risk is for infants and children. Now, doctors say CT scans can save lives by detecting tumors and diagnosing disease, but they shouldn't be overused. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a city in southwest Missouri gets ready for a serious case of spring cleaning.
And we've got a beautiful start to the day. Live look at that sunrise from 7th and Rangeline. A bit on the cold side, but don't worry, it will warm up. But look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, Twin Hills Golf Course in Joplin tees off for an annual tournament to raise money for a good cause.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOBM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday. It's April the 15th. As we mentioned this morning, it is tax day.
Yes.
Make sure you've got that taken care of. And of course, it is also the halfway point of the month of April.
We're just flying through 2025.
We really are.
Yeah.
I know what you talked about yesterday. We were hoping this year would slow down, but it has not, and we're again already halfway through April.
Yes.
Now. Unfortunately, the further we get into April and into May, the deeper we get into our severe weather season across the area. We're starting to see that potential take an increase over the next several days, which we'll discuss with you a little later. But first, let's get your Tuesday underway, starting with that live look from downtown Pittsburgh, where skies are clear. Things look pretty good across the area, but it is a bit on the cold side. Same from Modi Camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, showing those clear skies. Future track, and you know what else it's showing? Clear skies, because that's what we're expecting today. It's going to be a really nice April day, in all honesty. It is a cold start, a bit below normal for most of us, but by this afternoon, we're looking temperatures to be about average, heading in the mid-60s. Plentiful sunshine, light northerly breeze at about 5 to 10, and then the winds actually will become calm for a bit late this evening before they begin to shift out of the south overnight tonight. Here's a look at those cold temperatures. It's 39 in Joplin right now, where you're sitting at 41 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, a lot of us into the upper 30s, some low 40s. Down south, a little milder, mid, some upper 40s. With Grove is the warm spot at 47, and Neodesha still looks to be the cold spot at 36 right now. But again, we should be about the mid to upper 40s, and the majority of us are not, which means kids getting on the bus this morning probably want that light jacket. Low 40s, clear skies, north winds 5 to 10. But by this afternoon, not bad, still sunny. 64 north winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. As I mentioned, our highs pretty close to average. It should be mid-upper 60s. That's roughly where we're headed today with those sunny skies. So an absolutely great day. Now, our temperatures will warm up over the next few days. That's not a bad thing necessarily. Unfortunately, we're also going to see an uptick in our thunderstorm chances. And as I mentioned, some of those could be strong, potentially severe over the next several days as well. Details on all that in the full forecast. That's, of course, coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Well, scams can strike anytime, anywhere, and as economists warn that a potential recession could be triggered by rising tariffs, fraudsters could already be gearing up to take advantage. Now, according to members, a Trust Federal Credit Union, scammers often ramp up their schemes when people are feeling financially uncertain. Now, we spoke with the Better Business Bureau for tips on protecting yourself.
Sort of unsolicited offer, unsolicited text message, anything that you get, research the source and be careful with sharing any kind of information until you're able to verify it.
Now, according to the Federal Trade Commission, scams increased 25% in 2024 compared to the previous year. And a warning for some Southwest Missouri college students. Campus security at Missouri State University says they have seen an uptick in Kia and Hyundai car thefts. Authorities say thieves specifically target these cars made between 2012 and 2021 due to a vulnerability in the ignition systems. Springfield police say these incidents are isolated on and around the campus.
They're not going around to like checking all the doors. They're going specifically to those types of vehicles. And so they're going to the Kias and the Hyundais specifically and getting into those cars. It's not like they're going around the lot seeing how many cars they can get into. This is that particular car they're going to.
And even if you're not an MSU student, if you drive either of these types of cars, consider using a steering wheel lock. Now, park in well-lit, high-traffic areas and make sure your windows are closed and your car is locked. And remember, if you see anything suspicious, report it. Well, residents gathered at the Joplin Athletic Complex for the informal council in the park event. Now, community members asked questions, shared feedback, and engaged with local council officials. Local officials answered questions and collected ideas.
We're all people too. We're just like they are. We've just chosen to do a public service in our community and know that we're regular people and we can listen to their concerns, and we're concerned about the same things.
The next session will take place on July 14th at Cunningham Park, and residents are encouraged to come and participate. A new federal holiday could be hopping our way. Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt has introduced a bill to make the Monday after Easter a federal holiday. Now, it's called the Easter Monday Act of 2025. Now, Schmidt says it would give Americans more chances to celebrate with their family and friends. It would also break up the gap in federal holidays between President's Day and Memorial Day. Well, city officials in Diamond, Missouri want to remind residents that a citywide cleanup is taking place until next Monday. The city will make a dumpster available at the city lagoon. Now, residents needing to use the dumpster after business hours need to schedule a time. For more information, including a list of items prohibited from being dumped, you can head over to KOAMNewsNow.com. A long-standing tradition teed off yesterday at Twin Hills Golf Course. The 19th annual Ascent Golf Tournament serves as a fundraiser for Ascent Recovery residents and The Rock. Now, one event organizer of the tournament says it hits close to home.
Real personal for me because I'm in recovery, so this has been my dream. I've had a dream of starting this thing for years and years, and so for me, it warms my heart because they're getting to see a different side of recovery.
The fundraiser aims to provide essential resources, treatment access, and a stronger path for those working towards sobriety. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. NVIDIA plans to manufacture American-made AI supercomputers in the U.S. for the first time. And we have a nice and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Kiwanis Park, located in Baxter Springs, Kansas. Well, in Consumer Watch this morning, today is the deadline for most U.S. taxpayers to file their federal taxes. Now, unless you live in one of more than a dozen states where the IRS has extended the deadline. Now, people in states like Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Los Angeles County and California were granted a later deadline due to natural disasters in recent months. Now, all taxpayers can request an extension from the IRS, which would give them until mid-October to file. NVIDIA has announced plans to build AI supercomputers and chips in the U.S. for the first time. The products will be manufactured at plants in Arizona and Texas. NVIDIA says it plans to invest and produce up to $500 billion of AI infrastructure in the U.S. over the next 4 years. Now, this comes as President Donald Trump has been pushing aggressive tariffs in order to convince more companies to build in the U.S. And attention burger lovers, Red Robin is beefing up its offers for National Burger Month in May. Starting April 17th, customers can go to their website to get a bottomless burger pass for just $20. Now, the pass gives customers one burger and a bottomless side every day in May, only but customers have to act fast before the passes run out. Now that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good for our Tuesday. A great day for some burgers out there, especially now because heading into the weekend, it's going to get a bit on the soggy side. Live look downtown Pittsburgh, it looks fantastic. Got the sun rising out there. Skies are clear and they will remain that way. Same from the MoDOT camera. 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Again, looking back to the north along Range Line. Skies there also clear, and the future track also showing us those clear skies as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll have a light north breeze, not as gusty as what we saw yesterday, and eventually by late evening the winds will become calm out there, which will be nice before they shift out of the south after about midnight tonight, which will allow us to be a little warmer than this overnight tonight for most of us. 39 in both Joplin and Pittsburgh right now. And across the region, we should be mid-upper 40s. The only place we've seen even close to that has been our far southern counties. Most of us are in the upper 30s and low 40s across the area. It still looks like at this point in the Odyssey, still the cold spot at 36, but not many communities very far behind that this morning. Kids getting on the bus, they're probably going to want to get a light jacket out there. North breeze 5 to 10, clear skies, but low 40s. And when the bus brings them back, we're talking low to mid 60s, still clear and still a light north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, as I mentioned, we have some pretty big changes starting to build in starting tomorrow, and they'll carry on into next week as well. We'll go over that with you here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony Nicopol. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Gail will be back here in New York to tell us all about her historic space flight. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays, and we're going to start in Chanute with Wyatt Whitley, celebrating birthday number 17. Says happy birthday from all of your family.
And over in St. Paul, a happy 42nd birthday to Aunt Westhoff.
And in Joplin, a second year of wedded bliss for Kyler and Shelby Dryling. A very happy anniversary to you.
And a happy birthday to Judy Walter in Chanute.
Over in Fredonia, we've got Dustin Ogle celebrating another year wiser today. Happy birthday.
And a happy birthday to Annette Emerson in Chanute.
And back down to St. Paul, Charlie Diskin celebrating a birthday today. Very happy birthday to you, Charlie.
And continuing our list back over in Chanute with a happy 97th birthday to Kenny Corden. It says that Kenny's a World War II vet, and it says happy birthday from the coffee crew.
Yes, a very happy birthday to you, Kenny, and thank you. And that was another pretty good list of birthdays and anniversaries. And like I said, we love celebrating these. And if you would like to celebrate your loved ones on the KOAM Morning News, Elise has information for you.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages, and to also meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also be sure to include the date of your celebration when submitting.
Of course, very important information there. And don't you hate, you go to bed and everything's fine, you wake up and you're not feeling so well. That is exactly what's happened. So you guys may not have noticed at home, but if you have, thanks for sticking with me this morning. I will be fine. It's just one of those things, man. I hate the temperature changes, the allergies, and I know you folks at home do as well. The good news is, though, we have a pretty fantastic day lined up for us today. A light north wind, clear skies, temperatures pretty close to, maybe a little above or a little below average, but a really nice day for us. Winds become calm this evening, and then overnight they'll shift out of the south, which allows us to be a little closer to normal for most of us tonight, going back into the mid to upper 40s. Some low 40s, though, will still be possible, but most of us will be pretty close to normal. However, south winds increase tomorrow, start gusting upwards of about 25 miles an hour. And by late morning into the afternoon, we'll start to see opportunities for scattered showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms, and a couple of strong storms will be possible tomorrow as well. Then we could see another round. We get a break late evening, and then very early Thursday morning, another round of thunderstorms could roll through the area. Should be out of here by 6, 7 o'clock, but it could be strong, possibly low-grade severe as well. Now, once we get past that, though, Thursday still windy, but even warmer. We're going going to see skies clearing by the evening and go back up into the low, maybe even some mid-80s for some of us by Thursday afternoon. So here's what we're looking at for our severe risk. Of course, today, no problems at all. We have that low risk across most of southeast Kansas into tomorrow, and a low risk for our northwestern counties heading into early Thursday. I think it's going to be associated with that complex we showed you. Should hopefully be in a weakening state by the time it gets here, but we'll keep an eye on both. Now, the good news is our tornado risk for tomorrow, very low. No areas highlighted, but we do have a greater concern for maybe some small hail and for some gusty winds in our far western counties out there. So nothing significant by any means, but this is setting the stage for several days of possible strong storms, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. Right now, though, beautiful sunrise, not beautiful temperatures. 39 in Joplin, feels like 34 with that north breeze at about 7. Around the region, temperatures, again, we should be in the mid to upper 40s. We are not. The closest we've seen is our southern counties, and even they've cooled back just a bit. Most of us in the upper 30s and low 40s. Neodesha, you are still claiming the cold spot at 36. Grove and Anderson have been some of the warmer spots, but now we've gotten a tie again between Anderson and Bentonville, both sitting at 46. All right, there's that sun coming up there, and it looks great, and it will look great today. Mid 40s to start, mid 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon we go. We're going to go mid 60s, so pretty close to normal. North winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Winds are calm this evening, and then they'll shift out of the south after midnight. That allows most of us to be a little closer to normal tonight. Mid 40s, maybe a few clouds here and there. Once we get past tomorrow and Thursday's storm chances, we go into Friday. Now, not much has changed on the future track or on any of our severe weather outlooks for Friday at this point. The only thing that's changed is the timing. You may recall yesterday for Friday at 5 o'clock, the future track already had this line of storms getting underway. It has delayed the initiation of that, which could play a role into exactly what kind of potential severe weather we see, especially if these storms initiate very late. But still, from Chicago back down almost to Lubbock, showers, thunderstorms along a frontal boundary out there. And again, some of these by late evening could be strong, possibly severe. Hail looks to be the biggest concern with these storms, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. We go into Saturday, and at this point, our severe risk for Saturday drops. We're going to be a little cooler, and we're looking at just showers, thunderstorms scattered throughout most of the day on Saturday. And then it'll be Sunday that we'll see for Easter, unfortunately, additional showers and thunderstorms out there. And some of these, especially in the southeastern portions of our area, could be strong, potentially severe as well. And there's that chance they could last most of the day Sunday. Still some not matching up completely data on terms of how long the shower and thunderstorm activity lasts Sunday, but this future track showing it lasting the majority of the day. So if you have Easter plans, that's something else you're going to have to keep in mind. If you're heading out of town or if you're staying local, you're planning an Easter egg hunt, make sure you've got an indoor alternative available as we head into the holiday weekend. So again, this outlook not changed. It showed up again Sunday morning with the extended severe weather outlook. It's still roughly the same as it was Sunday and yesterday, but it stretches all the way from the Great Lakes to the Texas Panhandle. So we have that potential late Friday for strong, possibly severe storms. Now, as we go into Saturday, the risk shifts to our southeast. It's not that far out of our area, but it is the possible, because there's only two categories here, is at least out of our area. Unfortunately, by Sunday, it starts to retreat back northwest, mainly along and south of I-44. So it's another round we may need to watch, where I think the greater concern will be to our southeast, but nonetheless, we still have that severe risk getting pretty close to us as we head into our Sunday as well. And that sets the stage also for more showers and storms as we head into the next work week. We're going to have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you stay with us right here on KOAM Plus, we're going to see how a cup of tea can combat loneliness.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Well, Gavin Newton of Joplin is in the hospital, and 2 Jasper County deputies are on administrative leave following an officer-involved shooting yesterday. Jasper County deputies responded to a domestic incident when they encountered Newton, who was carrying a knife. Newton failed to comply with commands and charged at the deputies, who tased him twice, then one deputy shot him. Newton is now charged with domestic assault and assault on a law enforcement officer. The Missouri Highway Patrol is now handling the investigation. Well, a Kansas judge sentences Gavina McJunkins Macias of Jasper County in connection to the murder of his wife. McJunkins Macias was sentenced to 10 years and 3 months for the charge of second-degree murder. The charge stems from a woman of a body being found in Carthage. Now, on the Missouri side, McJunkins Macias was charged with abandonment of a corpse. A charge is still being adjudicated. And the Missouri Public Service Commission is accepting public comment on a request by Liberty Utility to change the company's fuel adjustment clause. The adjustments to prices reflect changes in prices the company has incurred. Now, if granted, Missouri customers' electric bill would increase by roughly $2.24 per month. Now, if you can learn more on how to submit a comment on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, a bit on the cold side this morning, but eventually into the mid-60s. Sunny skies, north winds 5 to 10. Winds will shift out of the south after midnight tonight, and that allows us to be a little closer to normal, back into the mid-40s. Just a few clouds here and there. South winds gusting to 25 tomorrow. A few showers, thunderstorms possible by late morning through the afternoon. A strong storm or two possible from Wednesday into Thursday, with hail being the greater concern. And then we're watching the potential for another round of strong, possibly severe thunderstorms Friday evening, and then again on Easter Sunday, with a wet weekend ahead and flooding concerns on top of all of that. So our weather pattern is starting to get a little more active, a little more unsettled over the next few days.
All right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making cranberry hot cross buns in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, actor and filmmaker Lake Bell discusses her first children's book inspired by her daughter and its very important message for kids and adults.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. Now, this morning, Chris Hicks and Aaron Schumann join us in the studio to talk about how Mornings with Mommy can be a great resource when it comes to parenting young children.
Plus, Charlene Patton also in the studio with another incredibly healthy recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.